Welcome to Financial Independence 101. This is Mike. I'm going to be going on this ninja journey. I'm trying to do 10 videos, 10 days on this channel. I do it on the other channel all the time, but trying to get the finance channel off the ground and do a few more things. But today is the day to go rock the vote. And it's important because democracy's on the line. Or, well, actually, to the republic for which we stand. The republic on the line here. And with that, I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on out there. It is probably going to be the biggest turnout we've ever seen for any U.S. election. It is very important that we get out there and speak your mind. Hopefully you've paid attention to what's going on in the last 4 years. You know, if you want 4 more years of inflation and you want 4 more years of everything costing more. I mean, my home insurance went from like $2,000 to $3,600. And I mean, that's just one thing. Do you want energy bills to go through the roof? I mean, it's really a big difference. And I'm going to be honest, I'm voting for Trump because he was working, the drill baby drill is a nice little short term. He comes up with these little phrases and stuff. That's kind of cool. But it's more than just drilling oil. It's not putting out policies such as when they shut down the Keystone XL pipeline or they canceled all the permits or everything that they put out that causes electricity to go up. Like the plan is by 2030 to take 30% of our energy plants offline because they're fossil powered. We are not to the level technologically yet that we can replace those with renewables. Renewables, I would love to have renewables. Put renewables on my house and let me be self-sufficient and let me completely 100% be off the grid. I'd love that, but we're not there yet. I mean, we can get some solar, but solar doesn't work at night. And wind isn't always blowing, even in Oklahoma. So, I mean, we are not to the level that we need to be. They would have to build a battery the size of my entire foundation to support us just to get through the night to run your house. I mean, you got to think about all of this stuff. And so with that, energy is a huge issue going forward. And I'm not even talking about the social politics. But let's get into that. So the Democrats have been playing for the last 4 years, and even beyond that, this gender politics game, which now they have to include all women, whether you are part of LGBTQ or whatever or not. All women are included in the draft now. And you're going to get drafted. You don't have to register through Selective Services anymore, from what I understand. And this is what's going on. That's what they're saying. So, I mean, a lot of these things, I mean, if every single idea that the Democrats come up with just blows my mind. It's so detrimentally bad to our country. And yet people still do it. People still are wanting Democrats out because they hate Trump that much. So you get a billionaire playboy that since the 80s has known we have a lot of problems in our system. And the problems have just metastasized greatly. I mean, we have $35 trillion in debt. But, you know, in the next 4 years, we're looking at $70 trillion. I mean, they are going to add so much debt if Democrats are left unchecked. And even Republicans spend too much money. I mean, they all spend too much money. I mean, at least we know that Trump's in there and he's going to have Elon taking a look at what we can cut. And then people are going, so you're going to have someone that has 200 and something billion dollars in there cutting people's benefits and this, that, and another. He's going to keep our dollar from becoming zero. You know, the dollar is diminishing so fast on the global scale. And you have the BRICS nations that don't want to use the dollar. They want to trade 100% in anything other than the U.S. dollar. And that's what the BRICS nations are doing. They're forming that. And, you know, Trump isn't going to stop that. But he will slow that down and keep decent relations. Do we have decent relations with any country now? With Biden, a weekend at Bernie's, Biden up there, he wouldn't even meet with some of these leaders. Have you seen him meet with any of these leaders? No, he's caused a bigger divide between the U.S. and North Korea, the U.S. and China, the U.S. and Russia. There's no reason to have such a big divide and us on the brink of World War III. And I don't see us making it through 4 years without World War III. In fact, I don't see us making it through 2025 if the Democrats are in charge. I mean, there's so many issues here. Kamala Harris isn't even an acceptable candidate. She isn't even one that the Democrats took serious. So they didn't even give her, I thought she got 1%. No, she didn't even get a fraction of a percent of the vote in the primary in 2020. Nobody at all in the Democrat Party wanted her. I think she voted for herself. That's all she got. Nobody wanted her in the primaries. Nobody wanted her except for she was placed as Biden's running mate, and then she was a ghost for 3.5 years until till the cover-up of Biden's mental decline became publicly known. Like, it was publicly known his first day in office, but anyway, it got a lot worse since his first day in office. And so Kamala helped cover all that up. She lied to American citizens, and she's doing it now still. How can you work side by side with somebody that has struggles to get through 5 sentences? You know, let's get Biden on Joe Rogan's 3-hour podcast. We can't even get Kamala on there. She can't think. She was just at a rally and her teleprompter messed up, and it just had 2 lines. She repeated those 2 lines 8 times. Over and over and over. And kept looking at her teleprompter. She's smart enough to know that there's something wrong here. But maybe they just want me to get them pumped by repeating these lines 8 times. She's not in charge of anything. She's not running anything. If Trump's teleprompter failed, he would just talk. This is me being me. This is what we're doing. And, you know, it's funny, too, because every time Trump says something that's kind of goofy and off the wall, I'm like, why'd he say that? If you watch the whole clip, not the 15 seconds they splice out of his clip, it all makes more sense. Just like that whole thing where the comedian was relating with people in Puerto Rico, and he said something about an island of garbage. He was relating with their situation that they are in, and he's understanding the situation that they are in. And how do you fix problems? Well, the only way to fix a real problem in this world is to address and admit that it's there. This is a problem. Now let's address the problem. But so much crazy nonsense. Getting into student loans. Like, I'm highly offended by this because there were days I only got 3 hours of sleep. I chose not to go in debt. I mean, I was 18 years old. At 18 years old, you're a responsible adult and you're responsible for your entire future. And you understand debt. Debt it's simple. You have to pay that back. And all these people willingly said, yep, I certainly do want to get into debt and I will pay it back. I will suffer for 3, 5, 7, 8 years once I'm out of college, and I'll live in a 700 square foot house, and if I'm making $100,000 a year, I'm going to put my budget at $20,000 a year, and the rest of that money is going to paying off my debt. No, they didn't do that. They lived high on the hog. They lived a better lifestyle than I did when I was out of college, and now someone else is paying their bills. Oh, they're just struggling to get by. Well, you know what? Now everybody's going to struggle to get by because it's another 2 to 3% inflation added for all of these student loans that are going. Democrats pass policies that say we're going to help this sliver of people here, and everybody is going to be financially devastated over it. And every single policy they have, it's exactly like that. And you know, how do you have equality? How can you have equality in America if every policy comes out and says, we're only for this small group of people and screw all you? I mean, literally, the verbiage is, we want to help this small group of people, but nobody else in the country. So if you don't fit into this tiny little round hole for this bill, then you're screwed. Let's get into the border. They are intentionally having an illegal invasion in our country. And I wish I could get some pictures, some footage, but there are stops in Mexico that have pictures of Biden and signs of Biden. I'm sure they're swapped out now with Kamala. And it's like, come to America illegally on us and then vote for us is the whole goal here. So 20 million of them have come across. By 2028, if they're still in power, there'll be 80 million. A third, if not close to half of America will be illegal immigrants. And they're all going to be voting for the communist regime, which is the Democrat Party. But here's the weird part. They're fleeing communism. But they're going to vote for communism. How can anybody fleeing communism vote for communism? It makes absolutely no sense. But if you're getting handed $9,000 a month for free, yes, some of them are getting up to $9,000. They're admitting it that they're getting that much money. With stipends and how much they're getting for food, how much they're getting just for cash to spend, how much they're getting their housing paid for. Because even though they're not getting the cash in their pocket, the housing is getting paid for. And some of them get put up in hotels that cost $100-200 a night. You do the math on that for 30 days. And it makes no sense. Now, are they going to continue this with 80 million, get up to 80 million and spend all that money, trillions of dollars, just so they can own the election, rig the election? I mean, this nonsense has to stop. And when you hear Donald Trump talking about the border, it has nothing to do with illegal immigrants and people coming over here and doing things the right way. My grandmother came over here the right way, which is another thing. She keeps rolling around in her grave because of what's going on here with the immigration thing. So this is got to stop today. It should stop today. But, you know, good thing for California law, because Optimus Prime went over to California and voted 6 times because he didn't have to show an ID. And he's obviously an illegal alien. But, I mean, they couldn't turn him down because he didn't have to show an ID. He said he was Fred. And they were like, okay, I got you, Fred. Here's your form. Of course he voted for Trump. Anyway, let me show you about this in the comments below. Are you getting out today? Get out, rock the vote.